between Puerto Ricans and a Black Girl. Today's conversation, it's about shacking up. Do you say yay or do you say nay to shack up before you get married? I have a funny feeling there was going to be a little debate going on between the girls today. So I am the dope widow.
Hey guys, I'm the love guru.
And I am the lifestyle diva, and welcome to this episode. So when you was saying that, I was like, it's going to be a little debate. I don't know, because I kind of sort of think we all may be having some of the same. I don't know. So, question, ladies. It's the simple question. Should you shack up as a couple before marriage?
You want to answer that one, love guru, first?
Well, I'm going to answer just from experience. I did shack up before marriage. Actually, we lived together for 9 years before we got married. He asked me to get married early on in the relationship. And so we were engaged for a very long time. I even had my daughter before we got married. She was actually one of my flower girls. So from experience, I did shack up before I got married. Do I agree with it now? I'm going to say yes. And I will tell you why I agree with it as we get into our conversations. But I shacked up for 9 years before we got married.
Were you guys engaged when you lived together? When you started living with him, were you engaged already?
No.
Okay.
We actually, it's funny. We actually got together. We were together for about, I'm gonna say, a very short period of time, probably like 3 months, and then we moved in together right away.
Wow.
And then I could say maybe like 2-3 months after we moved in, he bought a ring, he proposed. Of course, I said yes. And we lived together for 9 years. And like I said, I even got pregnant, had my daughter. And then I think she was 4 when we finally decided
to get married.
Yes, we got married.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Gigi. I was gonna say for you to go next because both of you women have been married and I've never been married. So I just want to hear your experience of what you know.
So, I have some statistics too, but I'm gonna throw that in a little later. But I did the same thing. I actually shacked up prior to being married. But now, would I shack up prior to being married? We soon gonna find out.
You know what I think it is too? I think people go into living together before marriage because they want to make sure that they know who the person is, that you feel comfortable around the person, because that's an adjustment to have been dating somebody or been with somebody for some years, and now all of a sudden y'all live together. You're coming home for the first time, as a couple living together, and you've never been in an atmosphere where you seen this person wake up, how they function around the house, how they do things, like that. But then on the flip side of that, it's like, okay, you're doing all of that, and then that can lead you into being stagnant in that relationship where you don't want to move outside of that. You just want to stay in that because you're basically doing all of the things that a married couple would do. You're paying bills together. You're having sex, clearly, because you're living together. You're all those things, that components that come to being in a marriage, but it's not a marriage. So that's the big thing.
Yeah. Like Gigi, I was researching in order to prepare for our episode, and it says that living together increased 1,500% since the 1960s, and I thought that was huge. You know that our parents back then would have considered it taboo for us to live with our partner before we got married. So for them to say 1,500%, that's a huge jump. Then it says that it has increased 30% since the last year. So it continues to increase. And the reason that it says that it has increased is one of the points that Mimi just made, the fact that you're trying to get to know this person before you get married. And I think it's so true that you really get to know someone when you live with them. Because at this point, there's nowhere for you to escape. Like, you're there. So if he does something that gets under your skin, you can't tell him, oh, well, go to your house, go home. Like, if he was your boyfriend and you guys got into a disagreement and you'd be like, you know what, I don't want to talk about this anymore. I think you should leave, and we'll revisit this conversation when we both cooled off. Right. No, when you're living with someone, you know what? You're there. You're in each other's face. There's nowhere for either of you to run. You need to attack that situation at that time. Unless, you're going to go to the living room and he'll stay in the room until you guys cool off. But still, at the end of the day, there's nowhere for you guys to run. You're there.
I think if we functioned like that more in dating and just boyfriend, girlfriend, couple relationship, it would be more successful when we came to live together. Like, if we attack things head on, if, we didn't let them fester, if we talked about it. Because I've recently I just realized recently, like, somebody who I've known for years and years and years and years and years, the communication is key to everything. If you don't address things, it's just like, oh, I didn't know you were thinking like that. Oh, I didn't know you perceived it like that. Oh, we always, every episode that we talk about, it always seems like it comes to communication. It's like, that is like tops up there. Like, if you don't have that, so if you attack the things going in like that and don't let them fester, then, but it's, I'm on the fence with that one. And I know I'm going to get a lot of phone calls after this because, we know a lot of Christians and, that's not, Christian-like to.
No, it's definitely not Christian-like. Another thing, because you mentioned Christian-like, it also says that it's become very common for couples, for partners, to move in together. And one of the reasons why it says the shame that family and society has put on people has dropped because it's become more common.
It's so acceptable now.
Yeah, so it's so acceptable that back then, people had all these religious values, and all of a sudden things have changed. So that's one of the reasons why moving in before marriage has become so popular, because people have loosened the reins, so to speak, on that, the religious value.
I know. And to add to piggyback a little bit of what Jackie was mentioning, how those numbers were 1,500%, like that number is insane. And just to put it even more clear, it was 450,000 back then.
Wow.
Now it's 7.5 million.
Wow, that's huge.
Huge. And that's that 1,500% on how much now it's more acceptable now than what it was back in the day, and then and everything that you guys were saying, exactly the points that I have, where it was some people decide to shack up because in hopes to get a proposal, or if I move, I can actually be proposed to faster. They can see I'm wifey material, you know what I mean? Yeah. Obviously the obvious one, to see if I'm really compatible with this person. And then I think the one that's really key in today's age, it's to save money on rent. I don't know, with my Boaz call, I might say, let's get it, because I'm paying this rent.
That was on my list as well. That people, couples talk about
Finances,
saving money and budgeting, and how much cheaper it is if we share the bills.
Exactly.
And we pay these bills together. So he's saving, you're saving. So a lot of couples move in because of those reasons.
Of those reasons, exactly. But what happens too, I think, and I think Mimi might have mentioned this, how people become really comfy, right? And because they're so comfy and shacking up together, that this could be one of the reasons why they don't legitimize their relationship. Yeah. Because you're already in it. You're already living it. You're already living like a married couple.
Right.
Why do I have to legitimize it? Why do I need this piece of paper? Where if you get to know each other before shacking up and seeing if you're comfortable, if you're compatible, doing that courting thing and building that solid foundation that I'm always talking about, really getting to know that person, then I think that you can be married before the shacking up. Because you get to know them outside of before you move in together.
I agree. I mean, I definitely think that can happen. But you know what's so funny? Well, all the skepticisms and all the questions that I ponder before saying, oh, would I do this? Would I do that? It's like so many people, and I don't know what the percentage rate is, but so many people have children before they get married. Now you've committed to bringing a life into the world, but you're saying you can't commit to marriage. But you could commit to bringing a life in the world. At least from a marriage, you can walk away from a marriage. Not saying that I'm promoting people to get divorced or anything, but that's something you can walk away from. A child, people do it. This is a lifelong commitment, something, that fixture that is in your life. And now you have a lifelong relationship with this person too. I don't even care if y'all are not in a relationship together. Y'all still have a relationship with each other because now you guys have made this child and y'all have a bond together because of that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So we got to really rethink our thinking process about commitments. Like what's like this, we can't live together before marriage. We got to live together before marriage, but we can have kids together before marriage.
Hello. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Another thing that I saw when researching this topic was that it said a lot of marriages did not last, like our parents' marriages and things like that, or they got separated. So it says that a lot of couples move in together to find out, again, like you guys said, are we compatible? Is this my soulmate? Before they get married, because they want to try and stop the cycle of divorce or separation. So they want to make sure that this is their person before they commit to marriage. So in trying to avoid divorce, trying to avoid separation.
So
I don't know if I agree with that one.
Right.
But, I can see what they're saying.
I agree. I can see what they're saying as well. But again, when we look at it on a faith base, right? My opinion, of course. If you're relying on the Lord to bring you your soulmate, then there's no questioning, is this person my soulmate? If you clearly hear from God, right, that this is the person, then you know this is the person. There's no real need to shack up. But I have a question for you guys. Okay. So, I have a statement first, a little disclaimer, and then I have a question for you. So 80% of people that shack up before marriage end before they actually get married.
Right.
So, and this is because a relationship, that the statistic pretty much was, the poll was because a relationship without a commitment won't last. Do you guys agree with that? You think that if a relationship doesn't have a commitment as marriage, you think it's not going to last?
I think that women and men think, I'm going to answer your question. I think women and men think differently. So women go into it as, we think moving in with the guy, that the next step is marriage. And men, I feel like they go into it thinking, okay, they're going into a lot of the time to appease the woman. Like, you know, I know, you know, you know, this is like a little pacifier for her. You know, we're living together, we doing, so I don't think you moving in with each other is going to lead to marriage. I think that discussion needs to already have been thought about or talked about before y'all even do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it needs to be, now this is one thing that I think too, I think it needs to be, if we're going to move into each other, move in with each other, and marriage is for the two of y'all, like y'all discuss, y'all want to get married. Like some people don't want to get married. That's a whole nother thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if y'all moving in with each other and y'all saying that you want to get married, it needs to be a timeline when you move in with the person. Like you need to set some ground rules. Okay, we're moving in with each other. 6 months later, this is we need to be going to our next step. Because then that's just like stringing the person along. If you're already talked about that y'all want to be in this committed relationship and it wants it to lead to marriage, then it needs to be, okay, when is that going to happen?
Yeah, because then she has an expectation. You know,
Right.
we moved in together.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the next step is he's going to propose.
Right.
So we can get married.
Right.
You know, women always have that expectation. But I always think, too, when you move in with somebody and there is no, or he has no intention, I think he's thinking like, why buy the cow if I can get the milk for free? Like I already have her, so why marry her? We're already living together. We're living together as if we're married. Why do I have to seal the deal by, you know, getting married? We already living as if we're married. Like a lot of men think that way. I'm not saying that that's the correct way.
Yeah.
I think a lot of men think that way. Like, why propose to her if we already moved in?
And
like he's getting what he wants.
Exactly.
He has a home, he has a wife without, you know, the paper, without the wedding. He probably has a child. They probably have a child together. So he has the family unit. She cooks, she cleans, she takes care of him. He has it all. So why is he yes. So why is he going to move a step further and propose when he's already getting, you know, everything that he wants?
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense.
And that's why I was saying that if you're going to do that, and not saying that that's going to make him do it, but it definitely needs to be between the two of y'all agreement that we're moving in together, but we have the expectation of getting married here. This is what we feel. And when you get to that mark, if it doesn't reach it, you really have to make some hard choices. Like, I'm not going to stay, because once you stay past that mark of the commitment that you made, they know they know they can keep on going. I'm gonna
happen. He's never gonna propose.
Right. I'm gonna push it another year. I'm gonna push it another year. So
exactly, because they know you're not going anywhere. But that was like an old statistic that I gave, and they've done in recent years. They've done like a new, a new little research, and what they realize is that shacking up actually is not the cause to doesn't lead to like divorce or people breaking up. That's not like the real reason. What they said, what can lead to a separation in a relationship, or maybe even a divorce after you live with somebody, you find out, this is not the person. It's that the person, when you shack up with somebody, you need to go into it with the maturity of what you were saying, Michelle, with the maturity of knowing this is what I want. This is the outcome that I want. So you guys both have to be mature. You guys both have to have like this whole game plan, and you have to know that you want this relationship to move forward, and that this relationship is sustainable. That's actually what's going to lead to the marriage. It's not because you shacked up. It's about, is this what we want to go into it? We have to go into it with that idea of, like you stated, Michelle, this is what I want at the end. This is the end result.
Right. And you have to have total, for me now, it's so crazy. That statement is never too late, or is you always learning, is so true, because at this age now, I finally had so many light bulb moments where I'm just like, oh my God. Like, oh, okay, I get it. But you have to be so intentional and so transparent with your partner.
Yes.
Like you have to be like,
talk about the communication.
Yeah, for sure.
You ladies that in a relationship, I'm the worst communicator. I do not communicate very well. but that's where you guys keep talking about, or we both keep talking about, putting everything on the table before you make this step. And like anything, we keep saying communication is key, but when you're making these huge choices, these huge decisions that could affect your life, you need to sit down and you have to have these important conversations. You have to discuss. And it's not one conversation, it's a multiple conversations. It's not, okay, today we decided we're going to move in and we talked about it and that's it, it's over. It's like anything. When you're buying a house together, when you're buying a car together, when you're moving in together, when you choose to have a baby together, like these are life-changing moments, and they have to be discussed. Not, like I said, not one conversation, but a multitude of conversations.
Yeah, and that's like when you said with the baby, that's like, so many kids, when they realize that parents don't stay together, and or that the parent just married this person because they were pregnant or something, the child feels some kind of remorse in that because they feel like it's something reflective on them. It is not. It's not. It doesn't have anything to do with the child at all. Never. It's just, in life you have some experiences and regrets that you have, that you do, and consequences come from it. But the child is not a regret. It's it's something that happened through you not thinking out something, like this person that I'm getting ready to lay with. Like when you lay with somebody, anybody that you lay with and you're able to have children, that's the outcome of having sex with somebody, that a child could be made. So we really take that so casually, because I know plenty of people, I'll speak for myself, like you lay with people and you're just like, am I going to be with this person can I see a future with this person? Or, this is just a good time now? Or do I really, really like this person? Am I in love with this person? And a lot of times you're not. And you're doing things with this person that is going to leave you to be in this person's life now for the rest of your life. So that's why I'm saying, when you moving in with somebody, you cannot tell adults what to do at the end of the day. You really got to pray on that and really, 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 really talk to your partner about every aspect of what that looks like for you guys. And you can't have all that outside, coming in. Like, you got to have a sounding board. Like, it got to be some people that's there that's telling you that's a sounding board that's like, no, they're not going to just yes you to death. But at the end of the day,
they'll give you the pros and the cons.
Right.
And
what I'm saying?
Totally honest with you about what this is gonna look like, and what it's not gonna look like.
We have to be honest with ourselves. Like, even if our partners or we come to them, we can't feel bad in hurting anybody's feelings. We don't want to hurt their feelings because we love them, but we want to be very transparent. If that is not for you, you really have to be very upfront and be like, listen, that's not something I see in my life. So that this person can go on. If you have expectations that you want to be a married woman, and this man that you does not see marriage at all, then that's not somebody that you can build with. Exactly. If I don't ever want to be married or live with somebody, and the person that I'm dating or with, they want to be living in this big house, or that's not for me. You know what I'm saying? So
I agree. But then also I look at it a little differently from this. A different perspective at this age than I did if I were younger. Sure. At this age, I don't want to just shack up with you. I want to make sure that everything is done and in order. I don't know, I look at it differently now. Like, where I'm at right now, I don't want to shack up. I don't. I would love to be able to do things the second go around the right way. You know what I mean? And I think more so because it's coming from a widow's perspective, I think, and also the age that I'm at, that I just look at marriage so differently. And I know that I'm going to be so intentional with making sure that all these little things, my pet peeves, if I really like this person, I make sure that all of that is in order before I make this life-altering decision of even shacking up with somebody. I want to make sure that is exactly what I want. Is the relationship going to be perfect when you live with someone? No.
Oh, no.
You know, there's going to be things that they do that's going to get on your nerves because now we're in a different atmosphere. You may leave your drawers in a corner. You might spill the toothpaste in the sink. You might leave a dish in the thing. These are things that we don't know.
Leave
right?
your dishes in the sink. Please don't leave dishes in the sink.
These are things that we don't know.
I digress.
But we have to make sure that these are not the things that's going to take us over the edge. Because if you have 90% of this person that you are so in love with, that little 10% is the 10% of when you live together. So you're going to just walk out of a marriage. If you marry them before testing the waters, is like, and a part of it, I think how people may think about it is like, okay, when you go shopping, are you going to buy a pair of shoes without trying them on? You know what I mean? Some people may have that idea of, well, I gotta try this on, I gotta make sure it fit. Let me live with him for a little minute. Let me see if this fits for me. But I don't know. I just think that I just think so differently now. Back then for me was like, I'm not living with anybody because before I marry, I gotta make sure I like you, really like you.
Yeah.
Make sure A, B, C, and D. And now it's like, no, Lord, I just want to wait on you. And you're gonna send me the perfect person. I'm gonna be married and we're gonna live happily ever after. That's like
I know for sure I want to do things differently now. Like I want to, because clearly how I operated in the past didn't work. So I clearly want to do things differently now. And I think that I am moving differently. Like, I'm more forthcoming. I'm more able to, because you got to be a sponge a lot in a relationship where you just got to take some shit that they say and just be like, okay, I received that. That shit made you go crazy, but you was like, okay, I receive. You got it, because this is what they're experiencing from you. You know what I'm saying? And they're telling you what they're experiencing. So you just got to be a sponge with a lot of things in a relationship.
I think it's also hard if you move in with someone and you're not married. See, because when you get married, it's for better, for worse, until death do us part, right? That's the mentality you go into this relationship in.
Good point, Jackie.
But then, if you don't get married and you move in with this person, the separation is kind of difficult because now you're paying the bills together. Let's say you got this dog together, you got this car together, and now if things don't work out, it's difficult for you to now say, okay, I don't want to hurt his feelings, but you have to go. We don't work out. Who's going to take the dog?
That's what's so important.
Who's going to take the car? Now I got to figure out, can I afford this home on my own? Because either I got to go find a new place or he's moving out and now I got to pay the bills on my own. So it's hard when you don't get married and now you got to separate all of these things that you guys inherited, so to speak, together.
Yeah.
But when you get married, you already go into the relationship or the marriage with, you know what, this is for life. This is till death do us part. We're not splitting up. So you have to work it out. Because this is the promise that you made. This is the vow that you made. This is the commitment that you made, not only to God, not only to your family, but to this other person. You know? So you take it a little bit more seriously, I think, when you're married and when you're considering separation, than if, you're just living together and you're like, you know what, it doesn't work, it's over. You got to go. I'm going my way, you go your way, and look, take the dog. I really don't even care. But when you're married, you think about that. You think long and hard about making that decision about splitting up or getting a divorce. There's so many factors that come into play when you're married, opposed to when you're just shacking up with somebody.
Well, that was a good point, Jackie. That for better, for worse, like that, it gives you a sounding board. It gives you something to say. I got married because of I wanted to be committed to this person. I wanted to do, and when you just with somebody, as far as, you're just in a relationship with each other, you could just easily walk away from that. I mean, you can easily walk away from a marriage too, but there was no real commitment there.
Yes. And marriage.
I mean, when it's not a marriage, you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to say one thing that I noticed from married people, and this is from married people that I know that have dated around and now they married, have been married for years, is that when you in just a girlfriend boyfriend situation or just in a committed relationship, there is something that sparks when people get married that is different from just, even if you are in the most committed relationship. When you say that this is my husband, this is my wife, I'm telling you, it makes you move differently. I see it. No, I see it. Like, I don't care if it's from people that were like me, like who all say, I don't, and I still stand that way. Like, I'm still gonna have joy in my life if I don't get married, if I do get married. But if you get married and you say somebody is your husband now, every time I see somebody get married, automatically that happens. Even men or women. Oh, this is my wife. It's something that's.
It is different.
They lose their name.
It's
My husband. What's his name? Because he had a name 2 weeks ago before he got married.
I'm telling you, it's something that lights up in people when they get married to somebody.
You know what? It's supposed to be like that.
Right.
That pure joy that you have just by saying my husband. It feels good.
It's a different level of commitment.
Good. It comes like from your belly. Like, it feels so good. It comes from your belly, that good feeling. Just calling him my husband, Yeah.
It's just a different level of commitment that I see, that even when you talk about it, people that are married, like, I can be with somebody who loves me dearly, but when this person, now you're married, she's like, oh, my wife, like, it's more of an urgency with this person than it is when that's what I see.
True. That's very true.
I also think, I'm sorry, Gigi, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I also think that when we shack up, or when couples shack up together, it's you have to think about your family members and friends. Although it's not their life, you're living your life. But, like, for example, I said, our parents or our grandmothers back then thought of shacking up before marriage as taboo. You may lose family members, or you may lose friends along the way, because you know what? They just cannot rock with the fact that you're shacking up. Like, I don't approve of that. So you know what? Since I don't approve with that, I can no longer be a part of your life. If you're not married, and doing things the way society says is the right way, because what's right for Gigi may not be right for me.
Right.
Marriage may be right for her. And for me, I don't think that marriage will ever be right for me. So I think that, I would be moving in with someone. But a lot of people don't condone it. So, it's a catch-22, because then you might lose family members because they just don't condone that sort of behavior. And they'll say, until you don't do or live the way you should, I can't be a part of your life.
So funny.
That's hard.
I'm sorry. So funny you said that about family members and stuff. For me, it was just the opposite. Like, I saw a lot in my family. I didn't see a lot of marriages. You know what I'm saying? I saw a lot of people that lived together, that were in committed relationships for 20, 30 years. I mean, for years, and were not married. So that's why I was like, it was kind of like, so to me, like, okay, it's okay to do that. Just to be able just to go and live with somebody. But not that I'm saying that it's not. If that's what you guys have chosen to do as a couple, and you just, but now I'm just thinking, like, I don't know, at this age, I just feel like I would be asking enough questions and want to have that backbone, like that person that's in your life that you just know that is your ride or die, that is going to, if you slip and fall, they're going to be right there. Someone that you can trust You can put blinders on and you can trust this person. You know, I think that the person that I welcome in my life now is going to be that person. And yes, I would want to marry them. If it, you know, it's like that. So
it's so funny you say that. When I was with my husband, I trusted him that way.
right.
With blinders on.
Ain't that's
Because
no.
I knew that he would never wrong me. I knew. You know, certain situations led to our separation, but I did. I trusted him blindly. Like behind my back, in front of my face, I knew that, you know what? He was for me. He was my ride or die.
And that's how it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people are just afraid of that word commitment that they rather just kind of live with the person and not do the whole marriage thing because they're really afraid of the word commitment. I really do believe that some people may think that they'll lose a part of who they are, but you don't.
For sure. I think like that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
In a way, right now, I do think like that.
Yeah.
I would love to be married again and find that my perfect person. I definitely would, but in a way, I'm gonna agree with Mimi. In a way, I feel like I would lose a part of myself now. I've been separated for a while now, so like I'm comfortable with me and how I do things and how I live, and I'm just comfortable with it.
I'm ready to be married. What? I've read dates.
You know, I mean, if it's in all of those situations, if it encompasses what I just said, for me, I don't care about nobody else. If all of that is there, it's like, yeah, I mean, why wouldn't I want to have that spiritual, mental, physical, all that connection with this person? This person is like glued to me. You know what I'm saying? Like we peanut butter and jelly. We you know, it's so I mean, you know, especially at this age now, it's just a good feeling when you have somebody in your life that you could say, wow, I can really trust. I know I can trust this person.
Security.
Wholeheartedly.
That's
the security of it.
Feeling safe.
Feeling safe.
Then, but you know what? You got to think about some people's lives. And we talked about this before. You know, they set their lives up where they ain't committed relationships, but they live in different homes and stuff like that. So you gotta, you know, think about what works for you. But I think it's beautiful to have somebody to have somebody who you can have all of that with, is that you can have conversation with, that you want to be around them all the time. And even when you don't want to be around them, like, I think that's another conversation. Like for me, I know if I was married to somebody, we would have to have a neutral room. You know what I'm saying? Like
oh please, you're on time.
We need to have some space where we can have some me time. We can have some time where, or you know, I know this person. I know when they need for me to leave them alone. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta be able to.
But that's, you know what, you have to really learn that person
For sure.
For you to know, okay, I think Mimi needs that time. I need to step away. And there's some people who don't even respect that. They know when you need that, and you verbally communicate that to them, and they still, because they're very forceful, no, we need to do it now. See, and we talked about the communication, and if we have a disagreement, how we should address it at that moment. I'm the type of person, you need to give me a couple of minutes to collect myself. Because I'm very impulsive, and I'm probably at that moment when my fire is lit, I'm gonna say something that later on I'm gonna have to apologize for. So just give me that moment to get my thoughts together. Let me be calm, so then I could talk to you as a mature adult. Because I'm gonna tell you, I'll be the first to tell you, you're gonna catch me on a moment, or you're gonna say something that lights my fire, and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna say something that's gonna light your fire. To avoid all that, in that person, that if we do get into a confrontation, a disagreement, give me a couple minutes, let me get myself together, let me get my thoughts together, and let me come back to you as a mature adult. Because if not, I'm gonna be real immature. I'm gonna be petty. I'm gonna be in my feelings.
That's where the maturity comes into play.
Right.
You know, at this age, I would hope that we would be a little bit more mature to just kind of fall back a little bit. And then you recognize you're a little bit more observant. And really, and when you're in tune with that person, just one word, the way they say that one word,
right?
you know something is completely off. The way they pick up the phone, the way they give you a look. When you're in tune, you already know. Look, I'm gonna fall back. I'm gonna give it a little second to calm down a little bit.
Exactly, I'm good.
And then you fall back a little bit.
Yeah,
you could be so in tune with somebody that, because you know text messages get so misconstrued. You could be so in tune with somebody that even through text messages,
you already know.
Feel the vibe, like
you already know.
You know what I'm saying?
You can hear
on the phone.
It's crazy. You could actually hear their tone in the text.
Yeah.
And all you're doing is reading. That's why I say text is the worst thing ever. Pick up the phone.
Sometimes you got to pick the phone up. Right.
Not every conversation is for text. That's another thing that I always say. Because you could say it some way, and you know what? Because I know you, and you say something, like you say one word, oh, he's feeling some type of way, or he's in his feelings, or he's in a bad mood. And you know what? He may not be in a bad mood.
Right.
Because he said one word, you already feel like he is. This is why I say text is one of the worst things ever. And I hate that we communicate mostly through text now. Like we don't pick up the phone to call people. Like before it was so nice. You'd be like, oh, I want to hear his voice.
That's all you did was on the phone. You didn't even text nobody.
You would go to sleep. I remember the days of falling asleep on the phone.
Right.
The wee hours. It was 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
You say good night. No, you say good night.
Yes.
Oh, yes. You hang up.
You hang up. No, you hang up.
Hang up
first. Yes, I remember that. And nowadays it's like, all right, talk to you later. Click. Like you don't even say bye or say love you. Nothing. Because I don't know. It's just like off to me with that texting business.
It is. It's just very impersonal. With a lot of it's no emotion can really be shown through text messages. Some things you just have to pick up the phone and call a person about. You can't, because it's going to get misconstrued. But you said something a few minutes ago, Jackie, about you really have to be very thoughtful before you say things. Like, consider what you're getting ready to say. Like, process it in your head for a split second.
That's what I tell my kids.
Then say what you got to say, because the way you thinking it in your head, okay, give yourself a chance to say, okay, that's not going to come off right. You know what I'm saying? And, because sometimes you just spit it out because you're on fire, like you said. That should come out, and they're like, whoa.
Yeah, I need that time. I need that time. I need that give me 5 minutes. And I'm that way. I mean, not to get off the subject, but I'm that way when I get home from work. Like I need to come home from work, and I need about 10-15 minutes to unwind, or at least a half an hour to unwind from my day, decompress, so to speak, from my day. So then I could get on the phone and talk to you. Also, then I could text. Because as soon as I walk in and get on the phone and text back and forth, I just can't do it. I need that 30 minutes, 25 minutes to myself to totally decompress from my day. And then we could talk. We could get.
And just like all of us are saying right now, we need that time to decompress. We need that time to, settle down, to woosah. They need that as well. So why?
A lot of people don't. A lot of people comment. They don't care. They just
That's too much energy built up. I gotta release that energy. I can't. Give me a minute.
Exactly. Like fall back. It's not that serious. Fall back for a minute.
Right.
I'm gonna talk to you. Just give me a minute to get myself together. It's hard. This is why you really, and you guys just said something. I don't know if it was Mimi or it was Gigi that said it, but you said you have to want to be around that person. And if you don't want to be around that person all the time, you need okay, I need a break from you. Like, don't move in. Don't move in, because you're really making the ultimate mistake. Like I said, once you move in together, if you don't have that neutral room that Mimi, you messed up, because you can't go anywhere. He's in your face and you in his face. And if he's that type of person that's not going to give you that moment to relax before you get, to collect your thoughts before you come back, it's never going to work. You're going to be at odds and you're going to be like, this is the worst mistake I've ever made. And now the difficulty comes in when you have to sit down and you have to have that difficult conversation. Like, this is not working. Yeah. Like, I think we made a mistake and I think we need to go our separate ways. That's the hard conversation.
Yeah. But that's why you have to date for a while. Like, you shouldn't just date somebody and in a month, oh, move in with me. No, you really have to date this person for a while. And really,
hello, I did 9 years.
You know what's so funny?
9 years.
I'm gonna disagree with that. I'm gonna say, from just thinking at this age now, I think that, I mean, I don't think you should just move in with somebody like you dated them a month and you move in with each other. I mean, which people have done, but I think people, older people, seasoned people, they had so much experience, life experience underneath their belt, knowing what their yes is yes, then you know is no. They know what they want. That I think that you could move in a little sooner than you would if you were like a younger person. I think a younger person definitely should do more consideration, which they wouldn't because they're young. They just, you know, very like spontaneous. But I really think like at our age, in your 40s or 50s or something like that, I think you very like who you are as a person. And even if you're allowing, considering in your life to be married to somebody, this is really like, okay, you know the decisions you're making up for the rest of your life. Yeah, because you only have so much life left now. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if I'm saying that I want to commit my life to this person, this has got to be thought out. I know that, you know what I mean? Like, so, because if you're 40 or 50 years old, you don't got like 40 more years.
And I think it could be done in a year if you are intentional with your dating.
Right.
Really, really getting to know each other. Not sitting in a movie where we're not talking, not sex. I mean, really dating over dinner, over a glass of wine, just having real pure conversations about present, past, future, aspirations. And I think that within a year, you would pretty much know this is not even within a year. Within a short amount of time, you'll be able to know. Your spirit will tell you this is the person for you.
I think in 6 months of dating at our age, because we already had all this experience, I think we definitely know in 6 months, is this the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with? Can I see myself with this person for the long haul?
And that's because
or it's just dating, because you could date for 5-6 years and still know this person is not the person that I'm taking into my future. It just works for right now.
It's fun for right now. Exactly.
Yes, it's fun for right now. But do I see myself with this person? Can I deal with his attitude? Can I deal with his mood swings? Can I deal with his thought process? You know, the way he thinks. And it's hard. It's hard because I myself, I'm going to be 50 this year. And I'm stuck in my ways, kind of, so to speak. You know, not that I'm not willing to compromise, because relationship is always a compromise. But I'm kind of stuck in my ways. I've been doing things, you know, this long. So it's just, I don't know. For me, I think it's just hard.
It is, and you got to, and the person that you're saying you want to do this, but you got to be like, do I want to make these compromises for this person?
Yes.
Do I love this person enough? Am I willing to make these compromises with this person? So
are they willing to compromise for you?
Right.
Because it's not one-sided. It has
absolutely
to be both sides. So you want me to make all these compromises, but you're not willing to compromise for me? That's the red flag.
That is.
That's a red flag. If they always, no, you. Okay, but what about you? What about you making a compromise for me? What about you do? So those things are the red flags that make me be like, I don't know. You know?
Live with me.
So
yeah, I just think you got to date differently too. You know what I'm saying? Like, dates can't be a date. Oh, we're going to go. Well, you can't do that stuff really a lot now anyways, but we go into the movies, we go into that. Like, you need to really date with a person where you like in each other's space and you can share thoughts and, you know, you're just listening to music, you're just drinking wine, you're just talking, asking each other questions, playing a board game or something together, something that's, a little bit more intimate. So you can get to know the person's person.
Yeah.
And not just their person who they bring to a date. You got any last thoughts, Gigi?
No, that's it.
I like this one.